Hello and welcome to the 2020 election between Donald Trump and Sherrod Brown. If you do not know who Sherrod Brown is, he is the Democratic Senator of Ohio. He recently was reelected in the 2018 midterm election by around 7%, beating Reneke there by 300,000 votes. Before I start the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Our goal for the month is to hit 30 subscribers. We're currently at 28. And don't forget to click the bell button so you get notified when new videos come out. Let's get started. I think Trump would easily win the mainly Republican states usual. And I think that Sherrod Brown would easily win all the main Democratic solid states as well. And I think he can move Rhode Island into the solid margin. And Maine's first congressional district. So in the solid column, Sherrod Brown 148, Trump 125. Oh wait, Hawaii 152 to 125. Let's move into the likely, leaning, and toss-up states. All these states I am filling in for Sherrod Brown. These are all Democratic states. They're just a little bit closer. Around I would say 10 to 15% margin. I wish there was another color so I could actually indicate that. And same with the state of New Mexico now. And Virginia, but these are going to be probably... New Mexico I could see as like a 10% win and a 7% win in Virginia. I could also see in the state of Minnesota, because he has that Midwestern appeal, I think he could move at least a 3.5% margin towards the Democratic Party from the 2016 election into the 2020 column. I think he's going to do better in those inner cities, and Hillary was not good at getting out the vote there, especially in the Midwest, in the inner cities. If it was from her just being the candidate, or the trade policies, or the economic message against coal, I think it was more of a combination there. For Trump, I could see Texas, and I could see the state of Georgia in the likely column. My reasoning for this is, in Texas, even though it's been getting closer with the Cruz versus Beto, Sherrod Brown is no Beto O'Rourke or Bernie Sanders. I don't even think Bernie Sanders could move it into the lean column. But I don't think he's a Beto O'Rourke or Julian Castro type candidate. He doesn't appeal to those types of voters. He's more a Midwestern appeal. And same with the state of Georgia. It's just, I think Trump has... I could move this into the lean, but I think it's going to edge into the likely zone about a 5.25%. I think that's still a 1% shift to him, but I think Trump could keep it in that margin for that reason, for Sherrod Brown not appealing to those southern voters. So I could also see that happening in the state of Florida. Florida's a different kind of southern state as well, but Trump's been having pretty divided approval there. It's been usually pretty evened out, and he did very well there in the midterm election, slipping the Senate seat and holding on to the governor's seat, but losing 2 House seats, which is fine. Excuse me. But I think that Trump could edge it out. He has been, I think he's going to do very well there. Again, with almost any candidate, I think the more big challengers there is Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Beto O'Rourke, Julian Castro. Another state, I think Arizona, because same Brown, Sherrod Brown isn't gonna really appeal to these voters in the West Coast and the Sun Belt. That's gonna be the biggest thing that's gonna hurt him, and I think that could also affect in the state of Nevada and keep Colorado in the lean. In the state of Nebraska, I could see Trump holding on to that second congressional district, but having a slight shift because of the Midwestern appeal and also the midterm election shift. I think only few candidates could actually flip this. Maybe Ojeda, Bernie Sanders, Biden. It has to be a very strong candidate, I think, to flip it. But in 2024, I think it's going to be a pretty even race. It's going to actually be a battleground, I would say, because usually it's been in, I would say, a lean Republican at least, or if there was on here, tilt. In the state of North Carolina, Trump's also doing very well there, and I could actually, I could put this in the likely column, really, but I'm going to keep it in the lean. Trump's approval rating also pretty flat there, but he won all, no Republican seats are lost, and even though they showed shifts, he kept his base there, I would say. It just, in midterm elections, usually they do not turn out for their party, but they did. The Republicans and Democrats had a record turnout, which was very interesting. So 220 to 224, I think that Sherrod Brown would carry the state in New Hampshire. I think only two candidates could really lose that: Elizabeth Warren, and Hillary Clinton. I think those two, or even like those super corporate Democrats, which aren't really appealing to many Democrats anymore. I think it's more of a progressive movement if Democrats are going to win in 2020 that they must have. We're actually, no, I didn't want to do that. In the state of Maine, I could see the second congressional district edging out. Trump won there such a large margin. It's going to be very hard for a Democrat to flip. I think only Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden would be able to do it. Even though that Sherrod Brown has that Midwestern appeal and the white working class appeal, I think Trump could still edge it out. It was pretty even in the 2018 midterm elections, with the Democrats only taking it by 2,000 votes. But I think there's going to be a shift back when Trump starts to campaign again for re-election, and he's going to get the base back out. In the state of Iowa, I could see this edging out for Trump as well. He had a huge margin there, almost 10% more than Texas. It would be very hard to flip that state, and I think only Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders would have a good chance of doing it. I think that Trump would still edge it out, though, even though he's got a very bad approval rating there for under Morning Consultant. People don't really vote completely on approval rating because Barack Obama had, I think it was 45%, and won with 50% of the vote, 50-something percent of the vote. So I think it's more like a shift. Like those disapproved people who voted for the candidate more likely are going to go back to the candidate, but I think some will shift back to the Democrats. In the state of Michigan, this one I think would go for Sherrod Brown. He's got that Midwestern appeal, and it voted mostly for the Democrats out of these three main states here, by 400,000 votes in the midterm elections, and losing their governor and two House seats. So I think that was pretty bad for the Republicans there. Same with the state of Pennsylvania, shifting losing, I think it was 3 House seats, but it was more the middle state in the Rust Belt. I think that Sherrod Brown would very, very closely edge it out. I think less than 25,000 votes. He would edge it out by, I think this is going to be very interesting to watch in 2020. So now it comes down to the states of Wisconsin and Ohio. I think Ohio would actually edge out for Trump. Let me explain. Sherrod Brown had won the seat by 300,000 votes. In the last election, he won it by 400,000 votes. And that was in a presidential year. And that was also a Democratic year. So having a 100,000 vote shift away to the other candidate, I think is very bad. Trump's got a pretty even approval rating there. He's got a -3 right now. But Sherrod Brown has a 45% approval there. And Trump, I think, had a 48%, something like that. So I think Trump could edge it out. Trump won the state by 480,000 votes, more than Sherrod Brown in his last 2 elections, not including the, what was it, the 2004 election, which was a huge wave year for Democrats. So this is very close, coming down to the state of Wisconsin. I think that Sherrod Brown would be able to edge it out. This was the state out of the 3 that voted most for the Republicans in the midterm election by 50,000 votes. And I could see just with that appeal to those kinds of voters and being an averagely known senator around the Midwest, I think he could edge it out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also click that bell button to get notified when new videos come out. Thank you for watching. Bye.